Welcome to Base Sunday, everybody. I'm your host, Frank Malico. Great to have you with us. Another big show for you today. We're going to tell you how you can make a family mighty happy by donating a car, a jazz violinist that has a sweet sound, and behind the scenes in Europe, an insider's look to some travel fun in Eastern Europe, by the way. But first, if you'd like to connect with us or pitch us a show idea, we'd love to hear from you. Go to cbssf.com, click on Connect, and you'll get all the information, the links to our emails, social media, Facebook, Twitter, the works. I think you know the drill. We're going to kick it off with a remarkable woman, a breast cancer and heart attack survivor whose dream is to make a difference in the world, helping women and helping children. She is currently the American ambassador for the Rural Women's Movement of South Africa. She's an author, a mother, a grandmother, and we're delighted to have her on Base Sunday for a curtain call, by the way. It's the Reverend Karen Baldwin. How are you?
Thank you, Frank, for having me back. It's so much fun to be back in San Francisco.
Great to have you. Now, you live in Albuquerque now, right? Or
I live in Albuquerque
in
now.
New Mexico.
Right,
and
yeah.
Well, tell us about your journey, because you were an engineer, right? Successful engineer, and you decided to kind of do an about-face at age 52.
Yeah, I went back to seminary, the Chaplaincy Institute for Interfaith Ministry over in Berkeley. And then after, you know, in close succession, I had the heart attack followed by breast cancer, and woke up one afternoon and realized that my life had to count for something. It had to mean something. So I took off for Africa alone. I was the first white teacher at this rural school in KwaZulu-Natal. And Ruby's World was the memoir of that experience.
You wrote a book. You wrote a book about your experience there.
It all went south. I was run out by the very people who invited me, turned on me and ran me out of South Africa. And now, 4 years later, things have kind of come full circle, and I have the opportunity to work for them again. I'm very excited.
And why South Africa? What was drawing you towards that country?
Nothing in particular. I had a series of dreams that clearly placed me in Africa. You know, it was a very synchronistic set of events that culminated in me arriving at this particular rural elementary school in rural South Africa. Africa chose me. I did not so much choose it.
I've heard you say that. So it has totally changed your life. You're now the ambassador of the Rural Women's Movement of South Africa. What is that? What does that mean?
Sizani Ngubane is a Zulu woman who founded this organization. It's a nonprofit in South Africa about 10 years ago. And they serve the needs of 50,000 rural women and about 2,000 orphans in the very area where I was working. And I met her once again through a series of very synchronistic events. And as their American ambassador, you know, it's my responsibility to educate Americans about the plight of women in South Africa.
And you two will be at the UN next year, right?
We are. In March, the first 2 weeks of March, we're addressing the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and presenting workshops for other indigenous women who will be coming to learn how to do the same thing for the women in their country.
And maybe you can tell our viewers, what is the plight of the South African rural woman?
The rural women in South Africa have a horrible struggle. Without a man, they all belong to men, either husbands, older brothers, uncles, and without a man's permission, they can't have a bank account, they can't have a driver's license, they don't have rights over their own bodies, and they can't even own a little plot of land to grow food for their family. And one of the biggest struggles they face right now is that the rural women are dying from AIDS at an alarming rate, much higher than the national average, because despite the fact that the medications for AIDS are free, they have nationalized medicine, they don't have any food to take the medicine with.
Oh my goodness.
And so, you know, the medicines are harsh and they need food in their stomach, and they don't have any food. So the Rural Women's Movement works very, very hard to progress the rights of women. South Africa has a very liberal constitution, but it's not enforced equally between the urban areas and the rural areas. So the women suffer.
So you're raising awareness. You've also got these beautiful quilts. Let me hold this up.
Isn't this amazing?
And if you go to your website, tell us what that is, and you can bid on these, right? It's an auction?
There's a collection of quilts made by the rural women. I'm auctioning them off. 100% of the proceeds goes to benefit the Rural Women's Movement, and they're all on my website at www.revkarenbaldwin.com.
And these were all made in South Africa by these women.
They're made by
beautiful.
the women who the Rural Women Movement serves. And the auction ends tomorrow night at midnight. And a woman in rural South Africa can feed a family of 4 for about $1 a day.
Oh, wow.
And so the quilts, this one starts at $300. the quilts, that $300 goes a long way.
It's almost a year of food.
Yeah, it is. For a family of four.
Family.
Yeah.
Well, on a side note, you're also a reverend, you're a motivational speaker, and I just want to throw this out. Unleash your life, change your mind, heal your past, and grow your spirit.
That's right.
I love that. That was on your website.
Yes,
and
thank you.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is. Nothing is so bad that it can't be healed, and no life is so lost that it can't be turned around.
All right, Karen. Well, thanks so much. We wish you all the best at the UN and
thank you.
The auction for the quilts, and have a great holiday. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much, Frank.
If you'd like more information, you can log on to RevKarenBaldwin.com. Back with more Bay Sunday right after the break. Stay right there.